Guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm figuring this out. I'm Christine of Side Street Market, and I thought it'd be fun today to take you to my shipping unit with me and maybe do a little ship with me video. So I'm going to turn this around so I can see what I'm filming. So this is my shipping unit, and it's a little bit of a mess right now because my husband just came over this morning and added 1, 2, 3 new shelves for me, so stuff is kind of all over the place. So I'm gonna have to get that organized. But I thought I would show you because I have some art, and I have a glass piece, and I have a ceramic piece to ship today. I thought it would be good to kind of show you what I do. And I'm not sure if the music's going to be too loud. I'm trying out my camcorder, so this is just going to be an experiment to see if this works. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead, and the first thing I need to do, I'm going to turn you all around, is those bins on the back wall are where I store all my listed inventory. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is just go ahead and I'll pull those items and bring them to my shipping table. Then I'll get you guys set up and we will see how it goes. Now if the music is too loud from the storage facility, I may have to just do a voiceover, so we will see what happens. Alright guys, I think this lets you kind of see my setup. I'm going to tilt this a minute. So on top of my table, on the end is where I keep my bubble wrap. I have my scale. I keep any tissue paper I'm using, and over here I keep all my tapes, and then these are the items I have to ship. So I'm trying to tilt this down and back so you guys get a good view. And I'm hoping I won't be decapitated in the view, but I may be. But we're going to go ahead and do some packing. Okay, so first up, the first thing I have to wrap today is some art. And this is yarn on board, so it is not that bad. I know I'm kind of far back, guys, so I'll get used to this as we go. This is hardboard. It won't break, it won't bend. But I do want to protect it, and like I said, my storage unit is a little bit of a mess right now because I put in some new fixtures. But one thing I like to try to do, and this won't fit. Okay, so let's see. I usually like to put these in some sort of a clear wrapping, but because this one's too wide, I don't have one that'll fit for that guy. But I do have one of these clear poly mailers that will work for the little coaster. So I'm going to make sure that gets in a poly mailer. And then what I might do and then I'll just tape over any extra. So we have this in a nice little clear packaging, and I'm going to put a little thank you sticker on it. And between the main art and this, I'm going to stick just a little divider to keep it from getting damaged. And then just to be safe, the whole piece I'm going to wrap in a little bit of bubble wrap. And then with these guys, stick that back in there. I do typically try to do a little bit of tissue paper on it, and since that fell out the other side, I'm sorry that this is so far away, guys. I'll have to figure out a different angle maybe for you next time. I like to add a little tissue paper because it just makes it fun for me shipping. I wonder if I can tilt you guys down over on the side here and you can see a little better what I'm doing. Okay, so we've got that. That piece is wrapped. This is again on MDF board, so it is pretty solid. I have little thank you cards. This was an eBay purchase. So I have a thank you for supporting my business card. Then I'm just going to get a little bit of toile out. And so that's just a little bit of a nice presentation. Now when I have hard things like this, I don't like to send them in the box when I can send them in a mailer. So this is a little bit more expensive, but this stuff is great. It is by Scotch, I think it's 3M, and you can create your own bubble mailers. So what happens is when the gray contacts gray, it seals and makes its own envelope. So I just... loud noise. Yes. So it's about a 14-inch sheet, so this 12-inch sheet should work okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and make my own envelope. I want to flip this over so it gets a little extra protection. Trying to make sure it's nice and even. And it needs to come down just a little more. Perfect. Now I'm just going to press this side to start the sealing process. Press it down on this side. And again, I only use this for very hard items that I know will not crack if something gets thrown on top of them. Then I press, and there you go, guys. It's all sealed. I am going to trim off a little bit of the excess. So this is how I tend to ship most of my art. Like I said, as long as it doesn't have glass and it's just something that's easy to ship, there you go. Pre-made envelope, the size you need. And what's good is if you use Pirate Ship, this counts as an envelope, a package. So it's less weight because you're not using a box. So now what I'm going to do real quick is on top of it, because when I take all my packages home, and then that's where I do my labels, so I need to know what was in here. So I'm going to take my measuring, because I haven't gotten a measuring tape yet for here, and I'm just going to mark that this is 12.5 by 13, because when it's an envelope, they only need length and width. And then I'm going to put it on my scale over here. And then I keep these bags here, which are like the ones you can get for $1 at like Hobby Lobby or any store. And this is how I bring my packages back and forth to my house. So I know this is just a little bit different type of video, but I hope you guys are going to enjoy this. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think. I'll eventually get the angle figured out and try to do others with you. It's just that today it's really quiet here. There's not a lot of people, so I don't look so weird talking to myself. So let's see. This weighs in at... hold on. But again, I might be voicing over, so you might see me interacting with you, but the words don't match because there's loud music playing in the hallway. Okay, 1 pound, 3 ounces. Alright, so that was the art. That was the easy one. Now let's move on to glass. We have some glass. This is an Arc France canning jar that sold. It's a 1.5 liter in the vegetable pattern. Now I don't like to ship these with nothing inside. So I am going to fill it with some paper. And I'm just going to use newspaper. I like to use brown tissue, but I just happen to have newspaper on hand. And what that does is it helps if it gets impacted. It's like it's not hollow, so there's some sort of resistance. So it helps it with shipping. I just want to make sure that's packed in there nice and good. Let's see. And I don't want it to be in there so difficult that the person can't get it out later either. There we go. So that is good. And that is just a little too much. So I'm just going to leave it with just like that. So it has something in there. So behind me here, my boxes go from small to bigs. The top has like my extra large boxes. Under the table is where I keep my tissue paper, my toile, my extra stuffing, and my air pockets for the boxes. And then I just throw stuff on shelves too as I'm working. So this guy is going to end up going in. I like to use these. These are the priority mail. You can get them for free from the post office. This is the shoebox size. It's 7 1/8 by 5 1/8 by 14 3/8. So I know that that's what I'm going to be using to ship this in. So I want to test. I'm going to close one end. And I want to test how much bubble wrap I can get around this and still have it fit. And I'll end up putting padding in the bottom as well. But let me just see. Okay. So it's a little tight, but it's actually a little big for what I want to do. It's actually a little big. So I'll probably have to hunt down a different box. But let's get it wrapped first. So since this is glass, I'm probably going to overwrap it. But I like to start with the top facing away from me and just kind of get a good padding like this around the sides until I feel like it's, ooh, that's screechy, that it's good enough, that I don't really feel the handles on it anymore. That's kind of my personal guide. And then I just tuck in the bottom. Like that. And I tuck in across the top. And now that I've got the sides padded well, I'm just going to turn it on its side now. And instead of going around the sides, I'm going to go top to bottom, just to make sure the cap is protected. And I don't do this too much because it adds a lot of extra to the sides, and you don't want it to get too wide for your box. Now this guy is probably a bit bigger than my tissue paper, so I will end up just maybe wrapping some toile around it to make it look nicer. But that feels nice and secure. Sorry for all the screech sounds. And sometimes for extra good measure, I might take, if I have enough room in the box, I might take some of the really big bubble wrap and just do one layer around it just to give it a little extra security. So since this is too big for my tissue paper, I believe, let me double check. Actually, nope, it works. So we're going to go ahead and put some tissue paper on this. And the bottom isn't totally covered, but that's okay, because most people just rip it off anyway, you know. We'll just make sure that's on the bottom. But it's nice when someone opens the box. I've gotten a lot of comments and positive reviews. Now this was in Etsy. So on Etsy I have a coupon that they get. If they bought from me their first purchase, they get 10% off their next purchase. And if they bought from me more than once, they get a 20% off coupon. And this is my bag of toile I keep underneath. And there goes the lights. So my tall ran away because I'm filming. So we're gonna go with blue. And now I'm not getting like super tons of orders. The most I may have in a day is 10 orders. So sometimes when I have that, the bigger items may just get the toile. They don't get tissue paper. Just depends upon the day. Okay, so here's our item now. And it is nice and securely wrapped. Thank you card, everything's in there. And the paper this week is kitty cats. So let me actually see, now that all the stuff is in here. So the item is actually only about to here. So that's like that much air. So I'm going to check to see if I have anything else that it will fit in better. I have this box that might work a little better. So what I normally do is when I get boxes like this from Amazon, I have them in a stack. But on one corner, let's see if I can get this in the shot. Where'd it go? Where are you? Can you guys see that? The 14 by 7 by 8. So what I do is when I get boxes, I break them down, and on one flap, the flap that's going to end up being on the inside, I write the size. So I have them in a stack so I can look at my item, and I've been doing this a while so I can eyeball it. And this item is 11 inches by about 7 by about 6. And this is 14 by 7 by 8, so that's perfect. So we're going to use that. So you guys see that? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of grab the item in it and then stick it in the box to kind of put a little extra padding. Now on the end I have room for air pockets, which is good because that's less weight. And then across the top, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 more pieces. So now this guy is encased nicely. And I'll stick the air pockets on the side. I'm actually going to shift it down and stick the air pockets on one side. And then I can actually put air pockets across the whole top and we're done. That one's a little too thick. We like those. This one down the side, there we go. I have different depth air pockets, so sometimes some fit better on top than others, so that's what I'm working with right now. So you guys can see, it's got 2 air pockets down here protecting it and air pockets on the top, and it's got the double wrap. So we are all set to go. And you can see when I tuck it in, those numbers I had are right here so you don't see them. And I'm not super worried about getting my labels off because my label to them will go here, and I'll stick a fragile sticker here to cover that. So my item is not really moving too much. I just hear it hitting the bubbles, so that is good. When I press down, it doesn't have much give. It's away from the edges, so that means it'll be safe. Now it's time to measure and label what this guy is. So it's 14 by 8 by 7.5, which I should have just copied over from the other side, right? So this was, let's see, 14 by 8 by 7.5. Let me just double check that. 14, yep, by 8 by 7.5, and then the weight. And then I know that this is the jar. I'm gonna write that on the label so I know. And it's 2 pounds, 10 ounces. Okay, and now that goes in my bag, and we have one more item, guys. So next up we have this fragile ceramic rabbit. It is a made in China piece, but I knew this would probably sell about Easter time. So we're gonna go ahead and get that wrapped up. And I'm curious to see, my bubble wrap wants to go for a spin. It is 8 inches tall as it is, so this one may be another tricky box. So again, I'm gonna start with it on its side, heads here, bottoms there, and I'm gonna wrap it this way. This guy is hollow in the center, I just realized, so I do want to put something in there. I did just get a giant roll of craft paper, so I will stick a little bit of that in there just to help protect it. Actually, I'm trying to think how to do this because unlike the jar, this is going to be harder to get it out of if it's stuck up in the top there. Alright, this is going to get loud, guys. So that fills that very well, and the person can still get it out because it's all in one piece. So we are going to get this wrapped well. And this one is a little tricky. Because the size of the rabbit, it doesn't want to roll very easily. And normally it wouldn't take me half an hour to wrap stuff, but because I'm trying to go a little slower and explain to you guys, I can usually do 7 boxes in an hour is what I'm up to right now. The more I learn and the more I practice. That feels pretty good. And we're going to wrap it well the other way too. This gets that bottom secured. And we want to protect those ears. So now we're doing top to bottom. And the more I pack, the messier my station becomes. Okay. That should be good. Yeah, that feels nice. There's good, like, feels like a 1/2 inch of padding on that. And we'll tuck this in. Over. And that feels nice and square and secure now. So we're going to see if it fits in a piece of tissue paper. I'm wondering if it'll work in I need to test this. because I don't know if this is going to be too tight in a 9x8x4. I feel like it's not going to be tall enough. Yeah, that's not going to work. So this is part of the fun part, is figuring out box sizes, which is why I came over to get it a little more organized today. Oh. Let's see. I have some boxes over here. Pardon me. So these are 12 by 10 by 5s. It's a little bigger than what I want to use, but let's see. I feel like that's going to be too big. That leaves a lot of room. Okay guys, so I'm going to have to look for a custom box, so I will be right back. Alright guys, we're going to have to make a box. So I'm going to try 2 7x7x7 boxes. So this is the base. This is a 7x7x7. So that's going to be nice and secure in there. And I'll probably have to just put a little bit of paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this other 7x7x7 and wrap it around it. This also gives it extra protection, which is really good. So there we go. We have our start of our monster box here. We'll get that part taped down. I'm going to finish getting this padded on the inside. I keep this stuffing stuff under here so I can use it as filler. And it kind of accordions out. This is what it looks like. So now that's not going to move. I'll put a little more on top to secure it. Is I do use fragile stickers. So I'm going to go back and put these on some of the boxes. But that's it guys. That was my little, I know it's probably going to be like a 30-minute video for packing 3 boxes, but that's just a little example of how I pack art, ceramics, and glass. I hope you picked up a few tips. I apologize if the angle was a little wonky, but like I said, I'm still learning and this is my first time trying to film in here. So if you liked the video, remember to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and I'll be back with you soon.